So, welcome. Thanks for doing this, guys. And congratulations on last night. Sonny, firstly, from your point of view, how did that feel doing Boiler Room for the first time?
It's a lot of fun. I mean, I grew up, ever since I've been listening to electronic music, watching Boiler Rooms, and, always enjoyed. I think the Boiler Room was like really what pioneered that sort of like voyeurism and like live sets, and I loved how like raw it was, and it was always just like one or two cameras, and so it was kind of like, I've talked about doing it for a while, but... It
was on your bucket list.
Yeah, it was, and I thought it was so cool doing it here in Shanghai,
Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to go down the line of chairs here just to introduce yourself and tell us what you do and your role is in Team Skrillex. So we'll start with you, Tim.
I'm Tim Smith. I have a company called Blood Company. I manage Skrillex and a few other artists.
And he also models my hats, too.
I do. I do.
Who are the other artists?
Fresh off the press.
Don't be modest. Who are the other artists that you manage?
I also manage Zed, Boys Noise, Blood Pop. That's my personal primary roster.
Okay, Blaise.
Hi, I'm Blaise. I was the GM. Manage the label. All of our interests across, everything. Music, merch, events, creative stuff, videos, production, fun.
Lee Anderson.
I'm Lee. I'm an agent at AIM Only. I represent Sonny for a number of regions around the world, pretty much everything outside of Europe. And happy to be here.
And this guy at the end. Sonny, what do you do?
I make music and I don't know, make music.
You hang around the office.
Hang around the office? No. I kind of hang around the office. Which office are we talking about?
So we're going to talk a lot about Asia, but just firstly, just tell us how the team, what's the dynamic of the way the team works together, Tim? What happens every morning when you get up? Do you spend your whole time kind of reacting to the world, or do you have a kind of plan?
Well, I think how we work is very collaborative, right? Our job is to execute the artist's vision, Sonny's vision. So, Sonny is ultimately driving which way everything is headed, whether it be, Skrillex, OWSLA, publishing, or other entities. You're seeing a lot of the top brass here on this panel, and we're collaboratively making decisions. And as far as reacting versus being proactive, ideally we're being very proactive, right? Like it is both. It is both. Over time, as his success has risen, more things have come our way, right? So being reactive is a blessing. There's a lot of great opportunities, but it's also a distraction to some degree, right? It's making sure that you're picking the right opportunities, but you're also not blinded by those incoming opportunities, and that you're looking above and beyond that, and trying to continue the original vision. That's a challenge, but something that is great.
Yeah.
When you guys started, I think he was sleeping on your floor. Just tell the audience what Blood Company is today, how big you've grown.
Sure. Sonny and I go back many, many years, probably 12 at this point. I was managing the band from first to last, even before he joined it, and then he joined, and that was when we first met. So yeah, we've had a long road together, and we've had ups and downs over that 12 years. Where we've come from and where we've gone to has been absolutely magical. I'm incredibly grateful to be in this position, and I know that he feels the same way. It's been beyond our wildest dreams, but it's also, I think, given us more fire and more fuel to continue to grow and go beyond where we're at, right? Like, we're definitely not complacent. We're not sitting idle. Like, we're hungrier than ever, and definitely.
I think Sonny has a vision more probably than most artists out there, and we collectively build really strong strategies around those goals and desires and things he wants to get done. And I think we kind of know what we're doing. We have our tasks, but as Tim's saying, there's so many opportunities that present themselves, and they're amazing, so many of them, you know, and it's easy one at a time to sort of say, yeah, this is great, let's do this, and sometimes we have to step back and look at the bigger picture and say no to a lot of awesome things or put things on deck. And I think he also probably does more than any other artist I know. He's got a million things going on at all times.
Sonny, how do you divide your time between the role of artist and music maker and now the producer of all things kind of OWSLA?
You know, it's like, I think it goes back to me being, you know, when it was just him and I, we did everything together. He was booking my shows. We didn't have a business manager. We didn't have anything. It was just us. So I learned business. I don't want to be a business person. I'm not a business person, but I know a lot about business. So I think I naturally am inclined to have input on the side of things. But I mean, really, the best use for me is just being a creative person. And you know, they take care of a lot of the business, even though I think my biggest problem is sometimes wanting to micromanage everything.
No.
But, but, you know, but for me, you know, I think that, you know, me and OWSLA, like, you know, as far as like the artists that we work with, you know, a lot of that comes through, you know, meeting new artists or running into people. And that's what's kind of cool about Twitter. And, you know, you follow an artist, they follow you back, and you just DM them. And that goes for so many ways, for visual artists, like video directors. And, you know, that's just kind of me. You know, that's always been me even before the success. So it's just kind of like an extended version of that, like, way of thinking.
A lot of people obviously are attracted to the label because of you. Do you feel a responsibility that they're chasing you for your time? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I don't really, like, if you got bullshit, I'm not going to listen to you. So, but are you talking about like artists? Or are you talking about people in general?
Artists.
Oh, I mean, whatever. I mean, if you're cool and your music's good, like, I don't care if you're like 16-year-old kid in your bedroom or like been doing it for a long time or whoever you are, like, come hang out. But sorry, what were we gonna say?
Blaise, let's just bring you in. How's OWSLA evolved over the last 5 years since you started?
Like crazy, man. It's been really cool, you know. I started 8 months in. We had just broken like 20,000 likes on Facebook. We were, you know, had put out maybe, I don't know, 15 releases or so. You know, I mean, there's a million ways that I could quantify the ways that we've grown, but that's kind of boring. For me, the most exciting part of it has been to watch the evolution of the brand, right? So, you know, originally I think OWSLA was, I mean, always putting out amazing music and always working with great artists, but it's been really cool to sort of see us, I guess, colorize that in a way. Like, you know, there wasn't, you know, originally the brand was, it was just a logo, right? And it was OWSLA. And now we've kind of brought that to life with different music videos and events. And it feels like OWSLA has a personality now and like a soul, you know, like OWSLA has, you can, there's tangible sort of, you know, touch points and ways that you can relate to the label, interact with the label. So that's what's been really cool for me and really exciting. And not to mention working with the kind of people that we get to work with. I mean, our whole company, our whole team, some of them sitting over there, some of my best friends in the world, and it's just been really cool, like watching, you know, just continuing to meet new people and continuing to grow the team. It's just been a lot of fun.
Your team is one of the most inspiring group of people that I've ever been around. Like, whenever I'm in New York, and whenever I get the opportunity to, you know, I'm out in LA. It's every month, 6 weeks. I'll just go in there for a day, and it's amazing. Like, you know, I leave there with so much energy. It's amazing.
Before we move specifically to Asia, Sonny, just give us a bit of a vision of what's going on with The Nest and what you've created down there in Chinatown in LA.
It's basically, you know, we realized one day, shit, we don't have an office. It's so easy to, you know, rely on.
I mean, it's a bit
Warhol-like, Tim, I was in LA and Tim was living in Florida, and he would pop in and out, you know, and he'd like stay in my loft that was literally like the size of this chair, and like, and then we realized at one point, you know, when we started, you know, getting some success, like, it's so easy to rely or to take for granted that, you know, we have computers and texting, but yo, when you're in the same room, that's when the real shit happens, and that's when we realized, like, we need a place And it was like, you know, all the music industries in Hollywood and you know, Beverly Hills or whatever, and we just said like, nah, like we're not in the music industry. That's not really our goal. Like let's just go to Chinatown where we're from in downtown LA and just create like a creative area where we can just create. That's what we do. Like the business shit is in the back. Like that's not even the point of anything. Business is admin. Business shouldn't even be a thing. You know, this is a place where you have to make movies and make music and create ideas, and that was the whole purpose of the Nest. And now we're building the studios, and it's taken so long. Like the city almost didn't let us do it because the building and we went through so much stuff. This guy named Ming, actually, this like Chinese architect that like hooked us up so much, and now we have like the best mixing rooms in LA now. Like the sound quality and the.
You brought a specialist over from your friends at.
Yeah, Noisia, who built Noisia Studio, a guy named Thomas, this Belgian guy.
I was reading an article this morning saying that he made you change the color of the paint.
Yeah,
He's
dude, this guy's crazy. Like, he's an artist. He's not gonna even in his most, I guess, humble version of what he does as a studio. He's not gonna like make something because that's his reputation. You know, he's not gonna like do a shitty job or cut corners. Like the paint, the like material of the paint had to change because of the sound. You know, on like a door. You know, that's how like amazing and real his sound is. So we got the best sounding studios, but also the best vibing studios. It's not, just about sound because we want it to feel like you're hanging out. You know, the best record sometimes is when you're just hanging out with your friends at a house and your laptops are open and you're just messing around. You're not trying to like go to work. You're just creating, and we want it to feel like that more than anything.
Okay. Let's talk about Asia then. Lee, how did the Asia region first open up for Sonny? Taking you back to the beginning.
The first time we came in, it was really, we were touring heavily, like right out the gate. It was kind of like the back of, I think, the Mothership tour. We took it over there, and that was when you had the Cell. And we came in, and originally it was really kind of like Northern Asia. We came in, we worked with the Smash guys, and came in and sort of hit Japan first. I think you really fell in love with Japan. Like that's probably one of your favorite places.
I love being in Asia in general.
Yeah.
I love going to Japan. I think a lot of like for some reason a lot of Americans just love. I think everyone loves Japan in that way. It's like one of those places you just go and yeah.
Were you straight into festivals, or was it club shows?
We started with some touring, and then from there moved into festivals. We've always, like with Sonny Everywhere, it's always been a really good balance of sort of like electronic-based stuff and then the multi-genre stuff. So, do like in Ultra in Korea, but then also go do like Fuji Rock. Follow up Ultra Korea, do like Anson Valley Rock Fest. And it expanded, started like going down to Thailand and stuff. The thing with Sonny, like a lot of artists, sort of look at the fees and they're like, that's not enough. Sonny will go to like Hanoi, in Vietnam, where it's not a ton of money, the economics aren't there, but it's a really great experience and it's an awesome way to go play it for people and have a blast. I've always with Sonny and his whole team, I've always sort of tried to like build adventures in. And I think Asia really provides that. There's a lot of like amazing stuff culturally and scenically and just everywhere,
What's so exciting too is like, a lot of our team, like it's Blaise's first time in Asia. And like, someone told me a long time ago, this guy named Martin Dodd, who first signed me before I had any record deals. He's just kind of like this independent A&R, who's like, he works with Max, he manages Max Martin and signed a lot of other artists. And when I first started working with him, when no one would fuck with my music, when no one heard anything, he heard something or saw something in me other than Tim. And he was like, yo, you should just go travel. This is when I left from First to Last, and I was like 18, just kind of idling, but still like working on stuff, like producing. And he's like, you should just go travel, go to Europe. Like, it's gonna be that moment where you're gonna be in a taxi cab, you're gonna hear a song, and that song's gonna inspire you. You're gonna like walk into a club or a cafe or something, and you're not gonna be calculating or trying to create, but that inspiration's gonna hit you. And so, we took a little trip with our team. A lot of them was their first time coming to Japan as well, and Blaise. And we had no plans, and we just let the wind at our backs and whatever. And there's so many of those moments where like, so I think it's important to travel. And like what Lee says, it's not about the fees or anything like that. Life is like, I don't even care about any of that stuff. I never think about that stuff. It really isn't And I think like, I mean, the business, it shouldn't be like a business model and then make something. It literally should be a group of people who just enjoy what they do. And then you find out how that fits in the world. And that's how we do things. And I think that's how we've always been.
I think you've literally played everything in Asia, though. You know, from Zookouts to Jakarta Warehouse Projects to, you know, every rock festival, wombs and clubs. It's funny, like, Sonny will just be somewhere on vacation and they'll be like, did he play in Tokyo last night? I'm like, probably. You know, like, he'll just find a club kind of like wherever and kind of get up. He loves to play and will sort of play wherever.
Tim, how do you feel about the region? How much time have you spent here, and how much time do you think Skrillex should be spending here?
I love the region. This is actually my first trip to China as well. I've been to Korea and Japan. I mean, it's beautiful in so many respects, right? The culture, the people. There are some really rabid fans here, right? Like this territory is pretty undeniable. It accounts for a pretty big percentage of our business too, whether it be like music consumption, whether it be touring, right? Like this is a very real market. So I love it. You know, we're very thankful and grateful for this territory and Asia in general. And, you know, as far as like how much time we put into it, we put in a fair amount of time. You know, like we are carving out time every year on the touring side to make sure that he comes over, and at least once, if not a couple times. And like Lee said, you know, we're diversifying the types of plays that we're doing, from festivals to, you know, the more DIY, underground, fun stuff too. So yeah, it's a top priority. You know, Sonny comes over and puts time in, you know, like collaborating with artists. He did a writing camp in Seoul maybe 6 months ago or something like that. And yeah, just to come over and get with people. He brought some people over from the United States, Valentino Khan, Josh Pan, right? And collaborated with some Korean artists there. So yeah, we're big on the market and love it.
But yo, for real, let's get like real talk though. Like, doesn't it kind of, Pete, I'm like curious, like it's blowing up so fast. And I'm talking about electronic music in general, you know? It's like blowing up so fast, and it feels like, excuse me, it feels like almost like frenzy right now. Like, what do you think?
Does it feel at all, when you're performing here, does it remind you a little bit of 2011 US?
No, it doesn't. I can't really compare it. I played Storm 2 years ago, or was it last year? I just remember looking out, and it was like so much advertisements, like from the main stage. And to be honest, like, you know, I was there for the fans. It was a great experience. You know, the fans were really happy, and I you know, put my all into my set. I just remember looking and just seeing like just towers and towers of just like festival production. Like it was like main stages of just advertisements everywhere. And I guess that's just a culture. It's different out here, you know. And it was just like, I'm just curious, like what your knowledge is on that and what you think about that stuff. Is that normal for China?
We'll get on to brands. Well, no, I don't. Well, yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I'm curious. But that,
I haven't played Storm yet. I play on Sunday, so I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But Lee, how would you feel about hard ticket shows in Asia? And,
Yeah, we do both.
And actually bringing a standalone production.
Hard tickets, merchandise has always been a really good business over here. Japan especially, the merch stuff is great. But yeah, we've always focused on a hard ticket business first. You know, I think that's sort of the core of it, and then sort of do the fun stuff on top of it. I think probably on the next cycle, you know, at some point, you know, we'll probably do another proper tour. We haven't done like a full sort of carry out production and run around tour. We'll probably come 2 or 3 times a year, but it's usually like a few markets together, kind of bounce in and go out. But yeah, I mean, we've established a hard ticket business in I think every major city basically in the region.
I saw Sonny, when you played with Guns N' Roses, you actually went and found out like the biggest rock songs, what they were in Houston, which I thought was quite smart. Are you doing any special research for playing in Shanghai?
Well, I didn't necessarily do that. I don't know where you got that information.
I did that.
Oh,
How'd you know about that?
I think
You got sources?
Well, I mean, I went out on my way. I just remixed all my favorite metal songs, and I think maybe some of my team just sent like some Shazam, like, oh, by the way, this is bigger, and I ended up not playing any of those because they were like not relevant to my set. But I mean, you know, there's definitely like a lot of Korean music. I know I had like this. What was a Chinese song? It's a really famous old Chinese song that I had on my set yesterday. It's like old school. There's a bunch of different versions. What's it called again, Jazz? Yeah, the Shanghai Bun. But yeah, I like to go to different like especially when I go to places like Brazil or Japan or Korea, or like exciting places that have music scenes. I'm always going out and experiencing them.
When we were figuring out the Boiler Room last week, we were looking at some of the local people, and it was
it's dope.
I was like, hey, what do you think of this? And I hadn't even listened. We're playing the SoundClouds, and we were like fucking rocking out to it. Like, there's some really, really cool shit coming out of here.
No different than when, you grow up listening to music, whether it's like Napster back then or like Kazaa or mp3.com, just constantly listening to music, good music everywhere.
You've talked a lot about obviously moving as a crew and like the kind of brainstorming and that's your inspiration of where you want to go and work and what you want to go and do. But what in terms of the challenges financially of this region, is it easy to come here for you and make money, Lee?
I think we do okay. Yeah.
No, I don't mean it as a loaded question. I mean, obviously, no. I'm just asking, in terms of
$11 billion a show.
Yeah.
No, because some people
it's. I think you're seeing the fees rise. I think we always try to be pretty reasonable though with folks and not beat people up too badly, because it's like at the end of the day, the more we end up kind of charging ends up costing the consumers more money on a ticket, right? So we always are very, very conscious of pricing. We'll make less money to make sure that shows are affordable for folks. And
this is where I hate the industry, because that's when like now it's like you have agent, then you have another artist agent, and then it's like there's so much to do with like profile and artists. Like that's why it's like festivals are great, but the politics in them are suck. And it's like it makes it you have the promoters who work so hard just to throw on these festivals. At one point they're music fans that want to just make money doing music stuff, and then it becomes so crazy. Like what you just said, you hit the nail on the head when you said it's all about the fans' ticket and what's it worth to see a show. When we do our own shows, reasonably priced, and and it's like we really think about that. We can still come out and make money and adjust the production in a way where it's still a good show, but we're not like we're so with everything that we sell on our own when it's up to us with the hard ticket shows, opposed to like a festival or a club where it's kind of already embedded. We really make sure the fan is not like overpriced, but
I like doing our own stuff because I hate the fucking politics of the festivals and the billing and the arguing and the sizing. It's a waste of time. It's egomaniacs just pushing for no reason. People behaving like assholes, and they make the promoters' jobs difficult, and I fucking hate it.
But then at the same time, you still want to play the festival.
That's not specific to Asia, though.
No, everywhere.
It's everywhere, but that's why I like doing our stuff.
But at the same time, fans. So there's people that can't afford these festivals and have a great time. So you want to play the festival, and that's why this is a weird conversation for me, because it's kind of half business, half OWSLA, half this and that. And that's when I just go away. But at the same time, it's like I know it. I'm not stupid. Like I used to book my own shows. We used to throw our own shows, and that's how we did it. And so it's a balance of both, really.
You asked me a branding question, which I kind of swerved because it was a question I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
But brands play.
Swerve. I was
brands play a major role, especially in kind of emerging markets like India.
I guess my question wasn't. I didn't word it really right. I was like, is that normal in China to have an events brands like that? You just don't see that in America.
Well, I think it's really, really
important. And my question was going to be, is that normal in America, or is that right now the hype of EDM? You don't normally see that. Sorry, not America. I mean China.
Yeah, I think from my perspective and what we heard yesterday from the Budweiser guy and talking to Eric, who's the founder of Storm, in emerging markets, of which China is one as big as it is, and places like India, then brands do play a huge part in enabling people like them to bring people like you over.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, you need
that wasn't a negative thing or anything. I was asking because I've just never seen it that brand driven. If that's normal for a rock festival in China, a normal show in China to have so many.
You're going to make the
brands
sponsors. You're going to make the sponsors
massive.
very happy.
I mean, thank you for doing all that stuff, you
Budweiser
know?
and Pioneer.
It's like a Doritos bag the size of this room. You can like go inside and like take a selfie in or something. Like it's crazy.
Tim,
but
how do you feel
that's
about
like the culture
working
out
with
here.
brands and in terms of it? That, you know, when it interferes with the artist's vision versus delivering the kind of artist vision.
I mean,
You must get loads of offers.
we get a fair amount. There's two primary reasons why we work with brands. One is because we actually dig that brand, right? Like we're fans of the brand, we're users of the brand or the product. And then the other reason is because we believe that they can bring additional value to our
team.
Yeah,
Creative.
the experience, right? Like if say we're doing a festival, and if there's a brand that can come in and add an activation to the site, maybe some vibes, just something to take the experience to the next level, to give the consumer a better experience, then we're down. You know, we're definitely not chasing brands, you know, from a financial point of view. Like it's all about, and that goes outside of brands. It's to the, you know, our philosophy in general.
We work with Red Bull a lot. And
Yeah.
Yeah, I
they're
was
just-
going to ask
they're
you.
actually great.
What's a good example for you guys of working with a brand?
Red Bull partnership was
Red Bull's
amazing.
a great
Bull's
one.
amazing.
Yeah.
They make energy drinks, they sling that shit like crack, and then all of a sudden they put the money into all this like creative things. They send dudes to space, they like do the Red Bull Music Academy. You know, like he said, you know, they come in, they want to be transparent, and like with our tours, they'll build like water stuff and cell phone charging stations, and like,
Yep.
and they help me, you know, like financially, then creatively, they help me build some of my productions as well. You know, so it's like, it's a team, you know, that's what we really, really seek at the end of the day. And it's people, like, if we don't vibe together, I don't care how much money it's all about. Like, we're not going to get anywhere for me and for you, you know, and so that's what we look for. We look for the people and ideas, and if it's aligning with where we're going, that's really it. You know, when it comes to
Exactly.
our personal partnerships.
I think
It's
you
got to be
guys-
authentic, right? Like I think in everything we do, we strive to be authentic and genuine in what we're doing. So, you know, we want to fuck with, and it comes with the people too, right? It's not just the brand; it's the people behind the brand, right? Like, and that goes with everything as well. Like whether it be label people or touring promoters, whatever. It's about the people, and if we fuck with the people, that goes a long way.
Have you got any long-term relationships with brands right now?
Long term, not really.
Lisa
You know?
Frank.
But if you want to go, and if Sonny wants to go on tour in America, you know, hard ticket production or something, would you you look for a brand partner, or you consider
No.
taking on a brand? You would.
Nah.
Very rare.
Yeah. If something presented itself and felt great, we're open-minded. But yeah, we're not chasing anything.
Blaise, just on Asia, it feels like the label has kind of evolved through the time of, you know, you've lived on social media, your website, your portal, everything's been so important to the evolution of the label. How aware are you and switched on are you to the platforms in China? And have you had much interaction with them?
This week we have, because it's hard to not use the rest of the other platforms.
Did you download WeChat?
I did download WeChat, and it's funny. I was having a talk with someone last night. I think with Mikkel over there from Boiler Room about what is it? Lee TV? Is that right? Yeah. How massive
Streaming
it is.
is
Right.
monstrous, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize. You know, some of the numbers with just the local platforms here are even bigger than outside of China. So, you know, I think, and you know, part of the reason that we're here too is to find out more about that,
Yeah.
right? So, it's really been eye-opening being here and seeing how, you know, you can really, I mean, just with the Boiler Room that we did last night, I think, you know, we got word that it was officially the highest streaming Boiler Room of all time, and I think a lot of that reason was obviously because of Sunny and because of the team, but I think also because of the Chinese market and the fact that, you know, it doesn't happen here very often, and it seems like everyone here is just very switched on. So best believe after we leave here, we're going to be tapping a lot more into these networks too.
I was really excited.
We like sushi, so it's like we want to. No, for real. I'm not kidding. Like if you ask me why I like to travel in Asia, I like eating sushi.
dim sum.
No, for real. Like I love dim
Negitoro.
sum.
Shout out Negitoro.
Like
You better
that's
like-
the
you better
reason.
like
That's the
Chinese
reason
food
why
as well.
you do it. Like John Lennon said, he wrote songs because he wanted to get pussy, and I want to expand the Asian market so I can have more reasons to come to Japan and eat sushi. That's really why. That's it.
When we got the Storm offer, I'd call them and I was like, I think it'd be really fun to go over there because there's so much happening in China and it's exploding. And just to the nature of restrictions of, social media and the way things are set up, I thought it would be really fun for everyone to come here. And I was really excited when we had the opportunity to do this. One, because I love to talk and get my photo taken. But two, because I knew that the entire label would really get to come, and see what's going on. And I think it's so eye-opening for everybody. I learn stuff every time I come here. You're probably learning a ton. You're learning a ton, I think these guys care. That's why we're over here. The biggest thing is Sonny or the label or whoever it is, they want to connect with people, right? Whether it's playing a show, whether it's releasing music, whether it's just meeting new folks.
It's doing what makes you happy. It's really just, it's about where you want to be. It's where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself in your life? Or where would you just love to be? Some people want to go swim under the ocean and look at fish, and that's why they do it. It's not I need to make money, I'm gonna go swim under the ocean and look at some fish. That's where they want to be, and that's what this comes from. It comes from wanting to create art and create music and just be that, and that's what it really comes down to. The business is, I was saying before, that's the afterthought. There is a lot of stuff about the business and all these politics, but I think that thing is, whether it's learned or whether you can learn it or whether it's in you or not, I don't know. But, it really comes from there. And then the team has to kind of follow that.
We rarely have conversations that start with business. It always starts with the creative.
Never.
Tim and I do sometimes, but.
Okay, well.
But not really. We never do. It's always
Yeah.
I think Sonny would like this. I think this would be a good experience. Here's why. It never, ever, ever starts with the business.
Which one of you says how much does it cost?
How much does it cost?
When he has a mad idea.
Oh.
We love
Never, dude. Yo, it's
exactly.
Yo, it's it's not about the ever. Yo.
Ever.
That goes back to what he was saying,
Then
right?
it spirals, it spirals into something else. You just start a conversation and then you just have fun. It's can't be too serious. You can't take life too seriously. You just gotta have fun. You can't think about what people are gonna think. You can't think about, oh, it's gonna cost too much. You just gotta vibe out, and then it turns into something else. And then I think
inspiration and art definitely leads the way for us, right? And we have faith that it will translate into something, right? Whether that is moving people emotionally, whether it translates into financial, gain at some point. But the motivation is purely art and creativity and adventure, right? That's where we start from, and that is enough if nothing else comes from what we do. If nothing else came from what we did back in 2010, it doesn't matter. We're proud and happy of the lives that we're living. So, and then, yeah.
You had a good quote. You said it's all about capturing lightning in the bottle.
Did I say that?
You did say
was
that
me,
as
I
well.
think.
Blaise.
See, I've been reading up on you.
That's not me.
Which also brings us nicely to OWSLA, because you celebrated 5 years, which is congratulations, by the way. Round of applause for OWSLA's 5 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Lee.
I was doing my homework on OWSLA last night. I mean, it's unbelievable what you've achieved in 5 years. Sonny, what was this philosophy, or what is the philosophy of OWSLA?
The philosophy of OWSLA? Good question. There's so many different ways. For me, it's literally what OWSLA is. It's a brand, and what a brand is just a logo that represents the people and the minds behind a creation or a product or whatever. And that's all OWSLA is. OWSLA is just an emblem so they can identify, oh, those guys made that. Or those guys helped with this, or those guys put this on, or those guys were a part of this. That's all OWSLA is. And I think it's the people who make OWSLA, and it's a reflection upon us naturally gravitating towards each other because we like the same things. So I guess, is it the philosophy of OWSLA or is it the philosophy of us? I think us as people are creative people. We're not financially driven. We're adventure driven. We're music and art driven. And it's like I know it sounds like a corny thing, but I like real estate. I do a lot of real estate. That's my business. That's fun. That's where I like to make money in real estate. I don't think about money, and I never did when I did art and music. And maybe I should, or maybe I shouldn't have. I don't know, but that's just how I've always been. But, OWSLA really is about the creative people that naturally have similar visions.
I'm going to say something I say. Sonny sincerely cares about other talented artists and creatives. And he's used his success to create OWSLA and build a platform for creative people that he believes in to get out there. Whether it's Mel's merch, Jazz or Liam's video stuff, Weeweck or Getter's music, and he cares. Like, he'll call me and be like, this artist is fucking awesome and you need to get them on everything and get behind them. And he's truly passionate about everybody. It's really remarkable.
You were in a band, obviously, and then you kind of transformed into the Skrillex we know today. Did you ever see yourself as an A&R guy when you look? I heard the Beats One radio show he did, which celebrated 5 years of OWSLA, and you were like, it was like listening to a kid. Like, you was like, oh my God, we signed this. Oh my God, we signed this. Oh my God, we signed this. Oh my God, we signed this.
But it's weird because it's funny because I guess A&R is just like, I don't even know what that meant in the beginning, artist and repertoire, but what was the position? I feel like A&R people were like a manager back then. They actually wrote songs. It was like such a different title back then. Like Ray Charles A&R was writing like records. He's like, I got an idea, and would like sing a little idea, like he was like an inspiration. But I mean, for me, it's just kind of like, people listen to me, and I mean, I'm a DJ. DJs I think are the best A&Rs anyway, because it's like you have an intuition like this is gonna have an amazing reaction if I mix it this way, if I like blend this with this or whatever. So you can hear whether a kid with like 100 plays or whether it's like that's my thing. I don't care like where it's from as long as it's good, and I feel like I have that intuition. So
Sonny's my first text or call on any artist I ever think about signing. Anyone. I call him, I'm like, or text him like, do you think this person's good? Every single artist.
He hit me with
the person I always go to.
He had this demo. It was like Disclosure with this guy Sam Smith called Latch. He was like, show me this demo. I was like, yeah, dude, these guys are. We're like listening to him in his like apartment. And I remember that. And like, but Lee has the greatest ear though too, man. Like he's on his shit, like for real. Like I mean, as far as his business, like take all the business aside, like he's an incredible ear. And always, all the people he was booking before he was booking me, I was like, oh my God, Wolfgang Gartner, Mastercraft, Layback Luke. Like, those are all the people that inspired me to make like certain styles that I was, like making even today too. And yeah.
I love you.
Blaise, we all know the influence of kind of hip hop on modern culture and music all over the world. And we kind of know the story about, electronic music's influence on the wider world. But
Someone get this guy.
When you look at OWSLA's releases, when you think of Porter Robinson and Zed and Dylan Francis, Blood Diamond, you kind of have had a huge influence on the sound of pop music right now.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I mean, not me personally, of course, but the label. I guess you could say that. It is cool. It is cool to look back at some of the guys who were making what they were making then and what they're making now. Yeah, I mean, it's just cool to kind of see the whole thing grow. And, for us, we're not really so much looking back at the past. We're thinking about the future. We're thinking about next year and 2 years, 3 years from now, next Skrillex sound, next OWSLA sound, even outside of, EDM. We're not thinking about EDM. We're thinking about music. We're thinking about...
We're not even thinking about music. We're just thinking about creating things. Think about everything. I think OWSLA, like I said, it's a brand. It's not a... I mean, we put out records, but because we love music. But at the same time... It's funny, people say brand, but I think label is almost a better name. Take the record off and just call it label. It's a label. It's Lacoste. It's a piece of fabric, because the French guys at Lacoste were like, this is what we're gonna rock alligator, and this is the shit we make. It's like as simple as that. And it could be whatever we're enjoying at the time. We just made a film, our first like mini film, 20-minute film. We shot in Thailand and did, a whole premiere and at a theater and everything, and that was like our first film we created, and it had music in it. Sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of turning into a bit of an Andy Warhol kind of factory of photographers, filmmakers, music makers. Have you got a proudest moment from the first 5 years of OWSLA?
Man, there's a lot of proud moments, and we have so many. I mean, one of the proudest moments was that movie premiere. To like. Without me posting anything, like the thing about OWSLA, I don't want it to be about me. It's not about me. It's about exactly what I've been saying this whole time. And, I didn't post it on any of my socials. It was all from OWSLA, it was all Blaise and the team. And they set this whole premiere up, at the Ace Hotel. And it was literally something that we kind of realized, like, yo, we should call a theater and see if they let us premiere our film. And literally within a day, we got the Ace Hotel in downtown Los Angeles in this massive theater. OWSLA posted, and there was like 3,000 kids around the block, and people, and like Kanye came, and Rick Rubin, and all these amazing film influencers, like, all came to see this film. And this was just something that we just like, Joe Deb and the director and we recognized just slaved over for so long, like the concept and the editing for months and months. And then, it's almost like your first concert, like the first time you're DJing and people show up. This was the first time you create something, and you can feel the energy, like you tweak so much on it, like in the editing and in the post and the pre, and then when you're watching it, you feel how good it is in this room. And that was a proud moment. Actually, one of the highlights is just like, seeing that film and being in that theater.
But Blaise, who do you think on the roster right now is feeling like the future of OWSLA, or the where the sound's going? Is there anybody you want to highlight? How do you feel about Marshmello?
All of them, I hope. Marshmello, fuck. He's got this whole, talk about creating a world, right? That's what we look for in artists that we're signing, right? We're looking for, not only is your music great, and not only are you a great person, but are you taking it to the next level, and are you building a world around your music, right? Are you building a thing, like I was saying before with OWSLA, are you building a thing that people can touch and feel and relate to and buy into, not financially buy into, but rep it, And Marshmello, obviously, he's got, his whole outfit, and, we see people everywhere now with, making their own
heads.
heads.
He's so fun. He's just like he's like, his music is just fun, like, it's just like, and he's a really talented guy, he's like, makes songs in 5 minutes. I've seen him make a song. He's like stream of consciousness. He starts on Ableton, and he just goes forward, and then it's done. And he makes another track, and it just goes, and it goes like, a lot of times, you can approach production a different way. I can go back and forth in project files and like flip them, but he's like, I was really impressed by his production, and he works really hard on, like I said, his whole world, like you were just saying, Blaise.
It felt like a bit of a turning point for OWSLA, because most acts aren't that well known before they sign to you. He kind of was well known before he was signed to you, and everyone wanted to sign him. So
But
it's
weird
though, we were on,
I'll tell you though, we were on that shit before, and we were talking to him for a long time. It's like, it wasn't like, we never really announced who like we signed, but like we've been working with him for a while, like, or talking, about working with him and known him for a long time. And I've been on him since he had like 100 SoundCloud, like I'm like, and right away I was like,
You broke Marshmello. Katie Couric interview started to pop. First show in New York at the Pier. That's not taken away from him. He's amazing. He's done it himself. But you absolutely broke Marshmello at the beginning.
That was funny. Yeah, I was on this Katie Couric interview, and he called. I'm like, because we were talking about similar stuff. Like, oh, Marshmello, this new producer, and like, and then like put him on the show. But
He called you during the interview, right?
Yeah, he called accidentally. My phone was on. I should have turned it off, but maybe not.
So many more questions to get through, and I know we're going to have some questions from the audience. Quickly, Blaise, Tim, on OWSLA, and Lee. How do you separate now what Sonny's doing live and rolling out the OWSLA brand live?
Blaise cares a lot about events. He yells at me all the time, like if he thinks I'm not paying attention to the details, I'm just putting stuff up. But that's why, it's quality, he cares.
I come from doing events, right? Before I knew these guys, when I was 13, I was throwing like my birthday party. Me and Sonny were just talking to my mom the other weekend about when I was a little kid, and I used to throw parties at the neighborhood clubhouse, and kids would get like arrested in the pool and shit. That's, for me, that's the most exciting part of it, right? Because that's the most physical manifestation of what you're doing. Whether we're in India or here in China, being at these things and having fans come up to us and talk about how much what we're doing influences them, and seeing them at the shows reacting, it's such a different world from like, okay, yeah, we got a bunch of streams online, that's a number on a page, but being at these events, that's the real shit, So of course that's what I care the most about. And for OWSLA, it's so important that we're so careful with how we're building it, right? Because it's so easy now, this EDM factory, this shows, and it's so easy to just like put a guy on a bill and do some tickets and do it at a club. But we, every single show, Lee will tell you, every single 300 cap club, I'm in there with my checklist. Do we have this?
Oh, he's up my ass. Do we have pizza for the fans at the end of the night?
It's so easy for things right, like, it's like when you used to throw like, here's the problem. When you get more success, maybe Boiler Room can even, like knows what this is like when we first started throwing shows, like there was no security around. No one gave a shit who I was. No one gave a shit who he was. So the vibe was so natural. You walk in, and no one cared. It was just so natural. But then you reach some status, and all of a sudden everything changes. Then there's this is added, and there's security guards, and there's blah blah blah, and this and that. And we just want to like go back to the simplicity, and that's what's really hard. That's the most difficult part about throwing events is like not overdoing it and just like going back to what it is. And you know, we're so when we go on tour, we bring this company, the one where we like prep the security. What's it called again?
Connor.
Berkowitz.
Yep.
CID.
Oh, CID.
And there's this like company that like we employ that basically all they do is they're like vibe people, right? So like they help, like we have like Skrillex, like rather than saying like security, we have like, we're here to help. We have people that, make sure, like we have people that run out and like take Polaroids of people and
We spend a lot of money on it. They clean the bathrooms.
Exactly.
They
Pick up
hand
trash.
waters out.
they make sure the vibe
Rather
is
when
just
you're
good.
coming in, instead of like getting patted down, they're like, "Hey, how are you? Welcome." I mean,
They
spend a
provide
lot of
customer
money on it.
service
It's
too,
like
right?
awesome.
It's like that's important, man. It's like, sorry.
Well, I was just going to say what I think is really cool when you guys have the events is there's a real authentic camaraderie and pride for the artists that are on the label, and they love being there together. There's always like so many back-to-backs. Everyone shows up. Everyone's always down. Like whenever it's a stage at a festival, party, whatever it is, everyone's always down to play.
I mean, let's talk about Ultra Music Festival this year in Miami, and how 2 months before we're in Miami, literally me and Sonny going to do a walkthrough at the site with the dude. Like, no, we should hang some string lights.
Like
from this.
redesigning
And they're I mean, bless them, they were so great about it. They were so supportive. Shout out Ultra, but I think at first they're kind of looking at us sideways, like, yo. We talking about lights right now? Like we talking about like this is Ultra, and you come in here. We're talking about hanging string lights from the trees. Like that's what's important to you guys. We're like, yeah, that is what's important.
That's what we like. We want to feel like a backyard,
Yes.
Just one more back to Asia again. You come from a streaming background.
That's right.
Have you done many deals, Asia-centric deals yet to get OWSLA music legally online in China?
Not yet. I mean, we're distributed globally through Warner ADA. But again, that's part of the reason that we're here, making inroads.
Dude, we got any deals? Hit up Blaise James.
Holler at me. Holler at me on WeChat.
WeChat.
Holler at me on WeChat, Lee TV, whatever.
That's
I'll
actually,
be in the lobby
that's
accepting
actually,
demos.
That's
Okay.
actually a good question.
Let's get on to Jack Q. How if that wasn't all enough of what these guys do, Jack Q, working with Bieber, how does that fit in now to your world?
I mean, like I said, like I never. It was weird because even like the word like dubstep or like this and that, people kind of create this vision of who you are or like what you should be or this and that. And I never said I wouldn't work with him or shouldn't or should or work with anybody. Like I've always just come across people and whimsically, and that's how it was. And
How'd you end up being the exec producer on his album?
Well, I mean, I think it was with the success of the first record. I mean, he didn't really come out with anything for a while, and I think it was just that moment in his life too where he was going through a lot of stuff, and then met with Scooter, and then just really helped shape the record, brought Blood Pop on.
Who basically was discovered pretty much on your label.
Yeah, and now he's just finished the Gaga record with Mark Ronson, and did the Madonna record, and doing the Vampire. He's doing so much stuff now. He's one of those talented kids, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's just it was the right place and the right time. We matched. It was like things match, and I think the success of the record, and I think the quality of the record is the fact that nothing was being forced and it wasn't over A&R'd. It was just me, I would listen to all the songs that were coming through and the productions and going through with them. We're like, this is dope. This is not dope. This is cool, and it was just like me just being honest and chill, and it wasn't like 1,000 people. That was cool about working with Scooter and Justin. We didn't have 50 A&R people in the room tug of war. It was just us, what does this record got to sound like, and yeah.
So Jack Q's killing it. You as a producer's killing it. Blood Diamond's killing it. Skrillex is killing it. When you get up in the morning, do you ever feel a bit schizophrenic about who you're going to be?
No, it's like the craziest thing is it's just keeping up with communication. That's the hardest thing. I wish I was just telepathic so I can just send. I can't. I have so many physical things I have to do. I can't check all the texts. There's a lot of important texts. That's hard. That's the hardest thing for me, is just like keeping up with emails and texts. Other than that, I can do it.
I know you sincerely like us, but you hate us when we're chasing you down.
Looking ahead.
I just,
Looking ahead, say for the next 2 years, do you have to carve out Jack Q time? Do you have to carve out? You must have everyone asking you to produce their next record.
like, I don't. It's just about like, I don't do the. There's been some projects where I asked to come on, and it wasn't like there was no personal feeling. It wasn't inspiring. If I'm not inspired by the people or the thing, I'm not going to do it. It's not about like, and I think, we've never really been strategic about me as a producer. Like, okay, so now we have to hit these people up and get on these records. Or we wasn't strategic with Justin Bieber. We're at a club. And we're like, me and Wes were like, we're making records right now. Do you have anything you can send us? Like, yeah, so he sent us this like old demo that was like, it wasn't, Where Are You Now wasn't even the chorus. It was just a piece of the verse, like.
Who's the most ridiculous person that's asked to have Sonny produce his record? That maybe shouldn't have done, that you could say publicly.
No comment.
Okay.
No, I mean, a lot of interesting people come our way.
Okay.
But like he said, it's about
I did a session with
vibe.
Toto once. And that was sick. It was me, Whatso Not, and Toto. The whole band. Sorry, it's a true story.
What it feels like there's kind of a lovely creative empire building now, especially with the stepping into film. Tell us about how you're feeling about fashion, because kind of from the merch labels almost like rolled into a fashion brand. Now I saw you doing something with Alexander Wang.
Well, the thing is, like, I've never been into like the fashion culture of like high fashion culturally. I enjoy it, and I think it's art. It's beautiful. Like when you go to a fashion show, you realize this whole thing is like, we have shows every night. We DJ, we put out records. Like that's like Alexander Wang's one night where like he's celebrated as the artist. When they run down the runway, that night is like celebrating the artist, and I really respect it. But it's never been my culture. I've always been like a skater and a punk kid. So like, we're into fashion, but like right now, it's kind of like we're making clothes that we wear. Like this is a shirt we made. It's a blanket we made, but like we just make the clothes that we want to wear. And
do you look at what Kanye's doing and Rihanna, those kind of associations? Would you entertain doing something like that?
For sure, yeah. If it made sense and if the energy was right, like it's crazy though. The people you never know you run into. Like I got to hung out with Murakami 2 days ago in Japan and just like randomly crossed paths through like people we knew and this and that, and just like had this crazy brainstorming session with things you never would have thought. Right? And that was never planning. So if you were to ask me, like, I never would have said, yeah, I want to make art with Murakami or whatever it is. It's the same with fashion, same with anything else. Like, I think a big part of the fashion side of OWSLA is Melissa, and who's Melissa Gross, and then Marilyn Hugh, who's also in the audience right now. Just being friends, like we work together. I was actually buying T-shirts, and Marilyn was designing. Like through like brands like Pink Dolphin, and then like she hit me up one day like, by the way, you're wearing my T-shirts. I'm like, these are sick designs. You want to design some stuff for me? And then like I remember like 4 years ago I was playing a Halloween show, and Mel, through somebody else, like we were making costumes, and she was like gluing stuff on costumes and like helped us get fabric. And she's like, yeah, I have some access to like fabric warehouses, and then so like we naturally just like, let's start making clothes that we want to wear. And that's how it started with that side, and we're just friends. So we were actually all just friends first, too.
You're kind of following in the Odd Future OVO footsteps. You got your pop-up shop now, right?
Yes.
Which is not closing down yet, you're keeping it.
Yeah. It's so awesome, man. It's another milestone
everything made in the neighborhood, right?
It's an old gas station, abandoned gas station. And when they brought this to me, I was like, I did not get it at all. We knew we wanted to do a pop-up shop, right? That was like an idea. We did one in a place called The Well, in another person's store last year in December, and it was super fun, super successful. And they were like, we wanted to do another one, and they found this abandoned gas station, and I was like, I did not get it. And then like, I gave them the keys to the Lamborghini, they just bodied the whole thing. They killed it. And it's this beautiful space. It's creative. It's not only a pop-up shop. It's like kids just come to hang out and like listen to music. And it's right by the office. And then we have little events. And it has this little lawn where we play, life-size beer pong with like trash cans and basketballs. And then we do the radio show there a lot of times. We'll just all kind of hang out and listen to music. It's it's really dope. But it's been really successful, and it's given them an amazing outlet to like. They're just like pumping out. It's very limited designs, so we don't make a lot of everything. So, it keeps kids coming back and excited about like when we drop new designs, and that's just them being creative and me saying, hey, be creative, and like so it's cool.
Okay, last question from me. Just what about new Skrillex music? What's next, or is that top secret?
I never talk about that. I don't like hyping, like.
It'll just come.
It'll come when it comes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. We're going to open it up to the floor now. So I don't know if anyone's got any questions. I'm sure we're going to get a few. Is there a microphone we can hand around?
Hi, I'm Riel. I'm from Canada, but I live here. I know you
in
said
Canada?
you don't. Toronto. So I know you said you don't like hyping your music, but is there any collabs we can look forward to?
It depends. Like some of the collabs are like kind of pending on the artist when they release it or what. I just did a record with Drum that I love. It's like one of my favorite things I've done in a while, and I love Drum. He's one of my favorite artists right now. I'm trying to think of anything else I can really talk about. But like, yeah, Drum record's pretty cool. I hope he gets his A&R and we can release it soon. Jazz knows all my music. He has like the list, the master list. I wish I had juicier answers for you.
Just really quick, this guy has some crazy music. Can we have like 2 minutes after to show you some stuff?
Yeah, I have to leave after this, but you have like a thing you can give me? I'll listen to it.
Yeah, like I have an audio on my phone.
But you have to put on, you gotta upload that because I can't like, I have to leave. Unfortunately, I want to, but.
Anybody in here wants to holler at us, they can email promos@owsla.com.
Yeah, we'll listen to it, but if you have like a physical thing or like write down an email, we'll check it out, or a SoundCloud link, I swear. Sorry.
Let's do that. Yeah. We'll do that after, on the way, when they're on the way out. We got another question over here? Here. Thanks, guys.
Hey guys, I'm Robert Zhang. I lead partnerships and sponsorships for Anheuser-Busch InBev. I was actually the Budweiser guy from yesterday. So, no, I mean, it's a quick question for you guys. From your perspective, how can brands work better with you? Like, what's the ideal for you guys?
Well, like I said, it wasn't any disrespect. It was just, I was asking, is this normal in China? Because I've never seen anything like it before, right? But I guess, it's also different culture, right? China's different than LA. I think in LA it wouldn't work, but here if it does work, it's kind of like it's a conversation,
I think my experience in seeing stuff with brands, sometimes the brands are really pushy. Like they'll say, hey, no, this is what we're gonna do, and then all of a sudden it's sort of a bait and switch, and they can be a little bit aggressive and trying to like push their agenda a little too hard on the artist. And I think it's always got to be like a collaborative effort.
Listen more. That's the thing, right? Like if you're a brand and you want to work with us, I'm assuming that's because you know that we are the voice that you're going to tap into to reach our audience, right? You're trying to reach our audience. So let us do our thing, Like if you're whoever you are, but not Budweiser in particular, but whoever, so many people we work with and they're like, oh yeah, we want to partner, but like, no, we want to do it our way.
Well
and I'm
said.
like, okay, but you want to
Kids
reach our
won't connect
fans,
if you
so
do
you
it
got to
that
talk
way.
our language, Let us do it our way, and kids can smell bullshit. Sonny always says kids can smell bullshit, and it has to be authentic, So if you want to tap into our audience, let us do the talking.
I think being tasteful and not pushy with it too, right? Like, a lot of times brands will have their minimum asks in there, usually a lot more than we're comfortable with, but like, it can be counterproductive if you're pushing too much, right? Like you don't want to look like you're desperate. You want it to look and appear the way that it actually should be, which is natural and organic, right? Like, so I think, he said collaborative, like it should be a collaboration and both parties.
And
should
that's
come
just
with
for
it.
us, though. It doesn't mean other artists can't have the Budweiser mega stage, and that works for them.
For sure.
Like I'm not like, and that's real talk.
I've actually always
For sure.
had really good experience working with AB and Bev and
Same.
everything. I think, yeah, you guys are actually great.
Question over the back there.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the time. My name is Steven. I'm with a program called DeAngelo, Blaise. I'm looking at you. We do music streaming out here, but that's not actually relevant to the question that I have. It was more actually right on topic with what you were talking about with the brands, and I just kind of wanted to get a perspective on your values with it, because I know what you guys were saying was, Obviously true school people, they don't want to have so much brands in their face because it's all about the music, it's all about the love, and that's where this all starts, and the creativity and all that kind of stuff, right? So, but then at the same time, you're talking about, okay, we're all about our people that come, we're all about, our audience and all of that, right? So, you want to be able to keep the tickets at a reasonable price and these kinds of things. And so then, just to the point of emerging markets, right? You get a ticket for Coachella or something like that, and it's hundreds of dollars. You get a ticket to Storm, biggest thing that's happening in China at least, and it's like $70, right? So where do you see the balance there? Like at a what's most important, I guess, or like at what level? Like where's the line of like, okay, this is too expensive or this is too
you just can't walk into that. It depends like where you are, right? It depends where the region is. Maybe that question was for Blaise, but
elasticity of pricing. What is the consumer willing to pay that they're comfortable
it depends
with?
on, as an artist, how you want to represent yourself.
Good agent
right?
answer.
It's a personal thing. It's happiness for me, and I know it sounds like hippie, but like,
great.
if I'm doing Coachella, doing something else, that's on their terms. But if I'm doing on my terms, I'm gonna find a way to make it work on my terms.
And you go and do Burning Man as well.
Yeah, Burning Man. You spend money to go to Burning Man, but like, that's just an experience. But I mean, and it depends on the market. Like, I just don't want to create, like, for me, because I guess the music I make and the kind of fans I have, I'm those kids, and I remember walking into certain things and being like, what's going on here? Like, seeing all these things, and maybe some people don't care about that, right? So I'm not saying our way is the right way.
To the contrary,
If your ticket sales are bad, you probably charge too much.
But check it out. We're look at
But then
I
again,
mean,
we can bring in great artists like yourself, and so it's about the balance, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's the balance. Like I said, it's Storm, it works, and like, it kicks ass.
It's all balanced.
Love you, Budweiser.
Thank you.
Just kidding, I don't
one,
drink beer.
One down the middle here.
Hi, I'm Spencer. I'm from a platform called Pyro Music. We're a streaming platform here, first one for electronic music in China. So I'd like to talk to Blaise afterwards about some licensing stuff. But my question is to the management, how are you guys operating your social media stuff and your promotions here in China? Have you got any setup going on right now?
No, actually, that's a great question because that's one of the things I'm hoping to develop more as we're here this weekend. So if you've got, compelling proposals, get at me, let's talk.
Yeah, we do. We have a side project as well called Groove Dynasty. We look after a lot of the top 100 DJs, so that's something we can talk about afterwards.
At the same time, we try to keep it pretty close to the vest. We definitely aren't one of those companies that hires, kind of third-party people. It's funny, a lot of people ask me too. Artist managers will hit me up like, yo, like, what company are you guys using to buy your likes or what? And I'm like, what? We never do that shit. For us, it's content, right? We don't really think about advertising strategies or media plans. I mean, we do to an extent, but we think about making good stuff that you want to share with your friends, right? That's our standard. Would I watch this? We're consumers of music. We're kids at heart. We watch stuff constantly. That's our standard. If we make great content and if it makes you want to show your friend, then I don't care what country you're in. I don't care if you're behind a VPN or a firewall, and it'll find its way to you.
Sure, but I think China is a very unique market in the fact there's a language barrier and there's obviously a firewall. So I think it's basically the only place in the world where there has to be a whole separate social network for people to operate, and it's very difficult for the original artists because they already have 4 or 5 social networks they've got to run and operate. To add then another 4 or 5 in a totally different language, in a totally market which they don't actually have any kind of real connection with, it's very difficult to do on your own, basically.
It's true. I mean, I hope to come back here a lot more and be able to kind of water that plant, ourselves personally, come back here and grow those things the way that we have in the U.S. So this is just the beginning.
That was a big piece of doing the boiler room here as well.
Shout out Boiler Room.
Question down the front here, I think. Is it?
What up? I'm Callie. I live in LA working for ATC Management in your Army. Question for Sunny. How do you feel about a collaboration for a Burning Man art car?
Say that again, sorry.
How do you feel about a collaboration for a Burning Man art car?
I thought about art cars, but there's so many, and that Mayan Warrior is so sick. and probably costs a lot of money. And I'm like, I can't, like if I want to do it, if I want to do something, I want to be the best at it. So I'd have to probably get a lot of money and beat the Mayan Warrior, because that thing is so sick, and the sound on it is so dope. And they have, who's the DJ crew that like plays on there, like all the sets are on there, and obviously like Robot Heart.
Robot Heart.
Let's get Budweiser to pay for the art car. I bet I can cut the deal on stage right now. Let me show you how I get down.
That's a deal that's going down.
So you're saying that if I can get funding for it, then you'd be open to it?
No. It's about like the culture behind it, right?
Yeah,
and like,
absolutely.
Like, but are you making an art car? You trying to make one?
I am definitely very interested. A good buddy of mine, Neil Rahman, actually just started working for your team. Him and I have some plans in the works, so we would love to
get in touch somehow. I'd
something.
love to see what you're thinking of. That's exciting. I mean,
Absolutely.
hell yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, this one here.
How can you see out there with the lights?
Hi, I'm Rob. I'm not going to say my publication name because it has nothing to do with this question. Nothing to do with business at all. You were talking about Murakami in Tokyo, and of course there's two Murakamis, Haruki the novelist and Takashi the visual artist.
Takashi.
Yeah, I assumed you were talking about Takashi. Any possibility you could make some visual art with him? His art is crazy, so add you to that.
We're like coming up with, I mean, I don't want to jinx it or anything. It's super just casual fun, but we like came up with this. We're coming up with this other company called Future Wife. We're coming up with this installation idea, and it's like sound and stuff, and it kind of revolves around his art, and yeah. But we're just kind of brainstorming. It could be really really sick.
Side note, my wife has read every Murakami book, the other one. Just so you're all tidbit.
Thanks, Lee.
Boiler room question coming.
Hey, my name is Mikhail. Don't want to sell you anything. One question.
Go ahead.
One question, because a lot of the things that you were saying and a lot of the festivals you've mentioned, there's a lot of money behind that, but you have a global audience that has a lot of fans in countries where there's probably no promoter, no club that will ever be able to afford any of the logistic needed to get one of your shows over. How do you guys, because I know that you're really, really, grassroots, how do you tackle that? How do you go into countries and, let's say Macedonia, where
Yeah. I mean,
monthly salary is 300 euros.
My production is super flexible and nimble. So like we go to those places. We go to Hanoi. We go to like South Africa, and I play in like a township on like a set. Like that's the PA, Like, and I don't get paid anything for that. So it depends, Like I like to spread music, I really do. And I think some other artists are different, but I think even when you go to Coachella, I believe like. At least when you're walking, it's an experience, right? We're talking over Hugh's transparency. It feels pretty transparent out there. You're not like, it doesn't, and I think there's a lot of ways you can work with brands in partnerships and be transparent. And at the end of the day, if the brand is offering something creative and dope, like Red Bull is a great example, is because they really are like doing things in the team. You don't really care. It's all of a sudden like Red Bull could be right there. It's like Red Bull Notting Hill Carnival or Red Bull, here and there. And people know the intentions and they see it. It's tangible. So that's when I think it works. And maybe all brands can grow that way.
At the end of the day, it's about the vibe. It's not about how much you spent on the stage or the lights or any element of the production. I mean, Mikhail, you know that better than anyone, right? With the boiler room stuff that we did, it's so simple. It's lights, it's a couple cameras, it's a small room, and at the end of the day, it's the people. Everyone in there, the energy, and that's so malleable because you can do that anywhere. We do that in our bedrooms, like at the end of the day, you can strip it back, infinitely as long as you still have the person making the music, caring about the fans, and the fans there supporting it and the connection. It could literally be anywhere on any piece of equipment in any country for any price. That's at the end of the day, that's what's important.
Sounds crazy now, but even back in like the early 90s, I think it was Ballantyne's did a concept which was Big DJ Small Club, and they bought a lot of the big people like Carl Cox, Sasha, John Digweed, Tiesto, and we just went and played. I always remember the tour was in Canada, and we all got to play in like 500 capacity rooms.
That's awesome.
It was a brilliant way of being introduced to the country. I mean, it's obviously so normal to do it now, but it wasn't back then. That was a kind of new frontier. So that would be the way of going into Vietnam and some of these other places.
Like what Cascade does with the Redux stuff is really cool. I think he played Sankey's this week or something, but
It's weird. I feel like now it's catching on though, and I do believe DJs are kind of paving this culture of the word underplay, the business version. But you know, like you see a lot of artists like Rolling Stones are doing small shows like at Echoplex or like Foo Fighters and all these bands I'm seeing. It's happening more and more and more. But I think like DJs have always been inclined, you know, like to you know, a lot of times you see bands like once they get to a stage, a headlining main stage, they don't want to go anywhere else because of their profile, and I think that's been like an industry standard for a long time, and I think we're kind of breaking that mold now, you know.
Metallica played Webster Hall 2 nights ago.
Really?
Yeah.
That's sick.
That has actually been that's kind of where some of the EDM kind of stars have got stuck because the production drove the show, and they're on those big main stages, and they're at the Tomorrowland's main stage, and it's hard for them to go back to do what you did last night.
All those shows are different too,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
the vibe is different, the crowd is different, the sets are usually adapted to the environment too, so those are different. Like I think you're selling yourself short and you're selling the audience short if you're only stuck in one dimension, right? Like,
But if you only can do that, it says something about the artist, because
True.
it shouldn't be about that. I mean, maybe some artists are only about that, and that's their thing, right? But if it's a crutch rather than like a purposeful thing, like, you know, like Daft Punk, their vision is to come out with a pyramid for that record, and that was it, you know, and that was like their thing. But if it's like a crutch, like, oh, we only can do this because, then I think that just says something about what the artist does. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's hard to connect with people when you're on a giant stage and they're 100 yards from you, you know? It's much harder.
It's a lot harder.
Yep.
But really fun, and I'm actually stoked to play Storm.
It's gonna be.
It's not a Storm Shit Talk Fest, by the way. I had a lot of fun last year. I'm stoked.
But
but I bring cameras so you can see me, and I'm like waving on the screens.
Yeah, you play the big festivals, but you know, no matter how big the stage, you always take the time during the set to come down.
We're not
from
leaving,
the booth
Pete.
and
We're
walk
staying
out
here.
there.
Time's not up.
That's
okay?
all right.
I'm
not going anywhere.
Passing on all main stage slots now, Blaise.
We'll see.
DJ BJ over here, Blaise James.
We should just bring the turntables in here. We'll just start.
I
We'll
know.
extend your radio show. You're good at that, by the way. You should do more radio.
Oh, thanks.
If it all goes wrong.
Twice a month on
If it all
Beast
goes
One.
wrong, yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think that is all we got time for. Tim, Blaise, Lee, Sonny, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks.
Much
Look forward to
respect.
Storm.
Thank you, Pete.